Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Chaitanyam Sarvagam Sarvam Sarvabhuta Guhashayam Yat Sarva Vishayatitam Tasmai Sarvavide Namaha. Sutramatreణ chenna syad tatkaryam tatra bhaved dhruvam vyavaharat purapishtaha sadbhava swayamaatmanah. Shruta chet na syat. If the knowledge doesn't take place merely by listening to the Mahavakya from the teacher, if Shravanam alone was not enough for the knowledge to take place, then that only means we have karyam tatra bhavedhruvam, then something remains to be done. If merely Shravanam or listening to teacher does not create knowledge, is not competent to create knowledge, then something more is required for the knowledge to take place. Karyam, something has to be done, such as prasankhyanam, repeating the mantra, or repeating the aham brahmasmi. But that cannot be. It cannot be that the knowledge does not take place by listening. Vyavaharat purapishtaha sadbhava swayamaatmanah. Because vyavaharat purapi, even before the vyavahara of the Guru Shishya, before this person listened to the Guru, then even before that also, swayam atmana sadbhava, that Atma is the nature of Sat or Brahman, existed. It is an obtaining fact. And what is to be done is to discover this fact or see this fact and not create something. If something had to be created, karma would be required. Something is to be discovered, recognized as such, then no karma is required. Ashanayari nirmukti tatkala jayate prama. Tatkala jayate prama. Apta shravana kaleva kalo yasya. The very time when the apta shravanam, listening from the apta teacher takes place, right then itself, so prama jayate. So that is what is, that is why Vedanta Mahavakya is called pramanam. Because prama, the the valid knowledge, true knowledge takes place. You can say true recognition takes place. Whatever Brahma or the delusion I was entertaining about myself, it drops and I see myself as I am. So therefore, Tatkala, at the very time when the Upadesha is given, that is when the Prama or the knowledge takes place. I see the fact. The 10th man sees the fact that he is 10th man. I see the fact that I am Brahma, meaning that I thought I was a Jiva, that these are all the delusions of Brahma, and all that is needed to be done is to drop that Brahma. Tatmasya vakyarthare trishu kaleshu asamshaya. And therefore there is no samshaya whatever at any time with reference to artha, the meaning of Mahavakya, that Mahavakya generates the meaning. Knowledge, there is no samshaya at all. Kinja siddhe brahmatmani shastra pramanyam nama. Question is, in case somebody questions that shastra is not pramanam, here siddhe brahmani. So pramanya of the Vedanta Shastra is a different nature from the pramanya of other means of knowledge, where this is self-shining siddha Brahman. In this case, all that pramana has to do is to remove the ignorance in the form of the Brahman. For other things, the pramana has to reveal this color. So eyes have to reveal the color. Otherwise, because it has no capability of revealing itself. Atman, that is self-revealing, doesn't get revealed, has to be recognized. Ashanayadi nirumaktyai, ashanayadi lakshita samsara, which is characterized by ashanaya, etc. Tatkala jayate prama, that very time the prama arises. Therefore, asamshaya, there is no samshaya. So therefore, the Tikaka asks this question, Siddhe Brahmatmani Shastra Pramanyam Nama Kim? What do you mean that Vedanta Shastra is not Pramanam? With reference to Brahma that is already existing in Atma, what do you mean by Vedanta is not Pramanam for creating knowledge? Viparyasa Lakshanam va. If knowledge of one of these four kinds takes place, then it is not prama or valid knowledge. Viparyasa lakshanam jnanam, knowledge takes place where contrary to what the thing is, like instead of rope, this is snake, viparyasa lakshanam. Nishfalatvam va, that this statement, tattvamasi, fails to create any knowledge at all. Samshaya lakshanam va, it creates knowledge with doubt. Am I Brahman? This way I am Brahman. I am Jiva. Anutpatti lakshanam va nishfalatvam means that the knowledge takes place but has no purpose to serve. Anutpatti means knowledge does not take place. Nishfalatvam, knowledge takes place but has no purpose to serve. Knowledge takes place is contrary to what the fact is, or knowledge takes place accompanied with some shame or doubt, and therefore I don't have certainty in my mind. So these four are replied by the author. So first of all, viparyasa lakshanam. Shukti rupyavat. Where there is Shukti or shell, rupya is the silver. That's called viparyasa lakshanam, or rope snake. But no, even before this teaching, the self existed as Brahma. And therefore, there is nothing that can deny that knowledge. Self is already revealing itself as Brahman. There is no badhaka, there is nothing that can reveal that Brahman otherwise. And therefore, there is no reason why a contrary knowledge should take place, because self reveals as Brahman. Bhadakabhava tasmat yatha avasthit yatha tasmat yatha avasthita atmavashyutya nivedanat. Shruti just says about Atma as Atma is. Tattvamasi, Shruti says, what you are, what you already are is what the Shruti says. Yatha avasthita Atma Swarupa. Atma Swarupa, Brahman, as Atma obtains as Brahman. And that's all the Shruti says. Therefore, if the knowledge takes place in accordance with what the Shruti says, that cannot be contrary knowledge. But you are Brahman, and you happen to be Brahman. Therefore, it cannot be that, he said I am Brahman, I thought that I am a snake or I am something else. That cannot be, because you are Brahman. Second thing is said is Nishfaratvam. Ashanayade nirmuktya tatkala jayate praman. No, you become free from Ashanayade. From all the samsara dharma you become free, because those samsara dharma were superimposed upon the self by you on account of ignorance. When the Shruti says you are a Brahma, Aryo Ashanaya Pipasa Shokam Moham Jaram Mrityam Atyeti. You transcend Ashanaya Pipasa Shokam Moham Jaram Mrityam. That all belongs to Upadhi. When I see that fact, tat kala samsarasya nirmuktya nirvrityartham jayate, that knowledge immediately makes me free from my notion that ashanaya pipasavanam, that I am hungry, thirsty, etc., that I realize all belongs to Upadhi. So phalam is right there, mukti, nirmuktya. So mukti ruvi phalam is already there. Tishu kaleshu asamshaya. And then they came in, because this is self-revealing. See, rope, etc., do not reveal themselves. Rope requires some other agency, light, to reveal itself. Atma is self-revealing, and revealing itself is Brahma. So Atma does not require any agency to reveal itself. Rope requires proper light, etc., to reveal itself, and therefore it is likely that somebody will look like rope, like snake. But Atma, self-effulgent, reveals itself always as it is. It's a matter of recognizing what it is. Therefore, there cannot be some share doubt with reference to that I am Brahman or not. And fourth is Anutpatti Lakshanam. Can it happen that this Mahavakya is stated by the teacher and there is a competent student there where a right combination is there and still knowledge does not take place? Is it possible? So Chaturtham Pratyaha, that fourth reason why Mahavakya is not Pramanam is Anutpatti, that Mahavakya fails to create the knowledge. In reply to that, the verse 104 is being told here. Pratibandha vihinatva swayam cha anubhavatmanah jayetaiva pramatatra svatmanyeva na samshaya. Pratibandha vihinatvat. There is no pratibandha, no obstacle between myself and Atma, which is Brahman. Swayam cha anubhavatmanah. And Atma is Swam Anubhava Swarupa, consciousness, self-revealing. Number one, there is no interference between Atma and myself, an immediate reality. Secondly, Atma is self-revealing, and then we don't need anything else to reveal Atma. Jayateva pramatatra svatmaniyeva samshaya. Therefore, there is no doubt that with reference to Atma, the prama, the valid knowledge, jayata, would take place. It is true that the listener should have carried out the atmanatma viveka by anvaya vyatireka. Therefore, padartha jnanam is there, and that is required for the vakyartha jnanam. So, all this happened in case of the disciple. So, that is the prepared disciple here, who is the padartha viveka. By anvaya vyatireka, who is known what the pada atma is. What does the word atma mean? Sakshi, Chaitanyam, Drashta, so Prakash. So that is there, and Brahma, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam Brahma is Satya Swarup, Jnana Swarup, self-effulgent, infinite. So this Padartha Viveka is there. Now comes the Vakya. To understand the Vakya or a sentence, we require to know the meaning of the words consisting, which consist of a sentence, which consists of the words. So says here, Padartha Ajnanami Vakyartha Jnanotpatti Pratibandha. For understanding any statement, what is Pratibandha? What's the obstacle? In understanding meaning, when a statement is made before us, what can serve as an obstacle for the knowledge of that statement to take place? Vakya, padartha jnanam. If I do not know the padartha, so in between I use some kind of word, of different language, for example, which you never heard. Or I use a word, there are those who know some word which they are not in commonly used. If say a word is used, then you are lost. Because that pada or the word meaning is not known, therefore the meaning of sentence also cannot be known. So padartha ajnanam, if I do not know the meaning of the word tat or tvam, then padartha jnanam, the ignorance of the padartha, ignorance of the meaning of the word becomes the vakyartha jnanotpatti pratibandha. There is pratibandha, an obstacle for the utpatti, for arising of the knowledge of vakyartha. But pratibandha vihinatvat, here we take for granted that here is a mumukshu, an aspirant, who has padartha jnanam, tad vihinatvat, then the obstacle of the nature of the padartha ajnanam is not there. Avagata padarthasya pumsaha. The person who is listening is the one who is avagata padartha, one who has known the padartha, what's the meaning of tat and tvam, that he has done by anvaya vyatireka. Tatra tasmin eva vakya shravana kale jayate eva prama tatra. Tatra means what? Tasmin eva vakya shravana kale. Right there, at the time of the listening to the sentence. Atmaneva prama jayate eva. So evakara is joined atmani eva jayate eva. The prama, the valid knowledge arises about Atma will definitely arise. Na samshaya iti yojana, there is no samshaya or doubt that knowledge will take place. So our Puja Swami always used to say that when the means of knowledge is there and the object of knowledge is there, and then when they come in contact with each other, the India samsarga is a vishaya, samsarga, then knowledge takes place. Because knowledge does not require the will on the part of the knower. It is object of knowledge that determines the nature of knowledge and not the knower. Therefore, knowledge takes place always. It is not that we will that this is a flower or this is a pot. This object decides what will be the nature of cognition that will take place in my mind. And therefore, this is the Vishayatantram or Kartrutantram. So, Kartrutantram karma or Purushatantram, Purusha decides. Vastutantram, the Vastu decides what the nature of knowledge is. But then, suppose a sentence, Akasha Pushpamasti ityadi vakyarthavat. Somebody says, Akasha Pushpamasti. If somebody says, what was that sentence there? Esha. Kha Pushpakruta Shekharaha. Esha Vandya Stoyadi Kha Pushpakruta Shekharaha. This Vandya Sutta is going, he has put on a crown of the flower of space flower, Kha Pushpam. So Akasha Pushpam Asti, that there is the flower in the space. Ityadi Vakyavat. So there can be a sentence like that, Anubhava Ayogya Tattva. That Vakya is there. Akasha Pushpamasti. Except there is no such entity as Akasha Pushpa, therefore this Vakya cannot create Anubhava or knowledge in you. Suppose Tattvamasi is like that. Iti Shankam Varayati. That Shanka, that this is a statement of something that does not exist, Varayati, Swayam cha Anubhava Anubhava Swarupatvat Swayam Atmana, because Atma is Anubhava means Anubhava Swarupa Atma. Atma is very nature of consciousness, very content of every Anubhava, eliminate of every Anubhava, eliminate of every knowledge. Therefore, Pratyakshyatam Ashakyatvat. So knowledge takes place, that is Atma. Atma is the nature of knowledge, and therefore there is no way that you can deny that anything can become an obstacle in arising of that knowledge. When the Vastu is there, when the Pramanam is there, knowledge has to take place. Pramanam is there, and then in the sense that the Pramanam is a combination of the Mahavakya as well as the preparedness of the student, who has known the Padartha Jnanam by Anvaya Vyatirika. When that is there, then the Vakyartha Jnanam, Aham Brahmasmi, has to take place. अतः हुम फट आदि शब्दवत् अनुत्पत्ति लक्षणम अभी अप्रामाण्यम नास्ति. So there can be words, meaningless words. Hum fat swaha, that hum fat etc. have no meaning. So if somebody utters those words, then no knowledge is generated. Anutpatti lakshanam apramanyam. That hum fat they are shabda, but they do not create any, because they are meaningless words. And therefore, when those words are uttered, they are apramanyam because they do not generate the knowledge. So anutpatti lakshanam apramanyam. Viparyasa lakshana apramanyam. Nishfalatva lakshana apramanyam. Samshaya lakshana apramanyam. Anutpatti lakshanam. Iti siddham siddhe brahmatmani vakyasya pramanyam ityartha. Siddhe brahmatmani, because Brahma as Atma is already an existing self-shining Anubhava Swarupa. So not only the Atma is Brahma, but Anubhava Swarupa is self-shining, revealing itself always. And therefore all that is required is the obstacle in the form ignorance to go, that's all. So, Brahmatmani Vakyasya Pramanyam. Therefore, Atma, that is already Brahman, in that case, that you are Brahman, that Vakya must generate the knowledge and the true knowledge. Evam Pramana Swarupa Nirupanena Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam Upapadya. So, Upadya, Upatya, Nirdharya, by upatti or by reasoning. So by reasoning now, the author has established that Aham Brahmasmi or Tattvamasi, that this Mahavakya will generate knowledge by analyzing the nature of the Pramanam or nature of Mahavakya. Pramana Swarupa Nirupanena. What is Pramanam? Tattvamasi Mahavakya. By Nirupana, understanding the meaning of nature of that Pramanam. That it is Vakya. Vakya which reveals a Siddha Vastu. And therefore, what is again Siddha Vastu? Anubhava Swarupa Siddha Vastu. It is a Vakya that reveals the self-revealing Vastu. So it does not reveal the Vastu. It only removes the obstacle of Ajnanam. That's all it does. If it has to reveal, then some other obstacle can come. So Tattvamaso Pramana Swarupa Nirupanena. So this is a special kind of Pramanam. Vedanta is Pramanam, Mahavakya is Pramanam of this nature. That it reveals or creates knowledge of the Siddha Vastu, Atma, the Holy Brahman, Anubhava Swarupa, of the nature of Anubhava or experience or consciousness. And here is the listener who is already prepared with Padartha Jnanam. So only obstacle that is ignorance, and that is removed by this Vakya. Therefore, Pramana Swarupa Nirupanena. By analyzing Swarupa, the nature of Pramanam, in this case the Mahavakya, Aham Brahmasmiti Jnanam Upadya, that the knowledge Aham Brahmasmi will take place, had been shown with reasoning. Idanim Pratipattavya Artha Swabhava Nirupanenapi. Pratipattavya means Jnatavya. Artha means the Vishaya. So now Atma or Brahman, that is Pratipattavya or Jnatavya. So what is the nature of the entity that is to be known? So we analyze the nature of Pramanam, which reveals. Now what is revealed is Atma. So what is the nature of the Atma that is revealed by the Pramanam? So when you analyze that also, then it becomes clear that knowledge has to take place. Vidanim Pratipattavya Pratipattavyartha Swabhava Nirupanenapi. Swabhava Nirupanam, by expounding the Swabhava, the nature of Pratipattavya, of Jnatavya, the Atma that is to be known. Tat Upadayam Vikalpayati. That this also now, Tat Upadayam Vikalpayati. How the nature of Atma is such that the knowledge will take place. How the nature of Pramanam is the knowledge will take place, and the Vishaya Atma is such that knowledge will take place. Tat Upadayatam. By showing it with reasoning, Vikalpayati, the options are stated here. Kim Sadevahamasmiti Kim Vanyat Pratipadyate Sadeva Chedaham Shabdaha Sata Mukhyartha Ishyatam. Kim Sadevaham Asmiti. Am I Sat, existence, Brahman right now? Kim Vanyat, or am I different from Sat? Sadeva Chedaham Shabdaha. If Sat, I am already Sat, then Sata Mukhyartha Ishyatam. Then the Mukhyartha, the main meaning with Sata, the Sat, with Sat, the main meaning will take place. Tika sa tattvamasi vakya shravana samanantaram. At the very time when you are listening to Mahavakya from the teacher, at that very time the knowledge takes place. Samanantaram. Pratipattau, for pratipatti, for knowledge to take place. Aham asmiti kim sadeva pratipadyate kim vanyat. So when the teacher says Tattvamasi, then knowledge of Tat Asi takes place. So Aham Asmi takes place. Aham Tat Asmi, I am that. Idi kim sadeva pratipadyate. Aham Tat Asmi, Aham Sad Asmi. Is that the knowledge? Or Aham Anyat Asmi, or I am different from Sat is the knowledge. That thou art. What is that? So when the student listens to that Mahavakya, does he realize that Sat Ahasmi, I am Sat? Or am I someone different from Sat? That's what can happen. Either he comes to know I am Sat or I am different from Sat. That's the two options. Adyamanudya tatra parasya anishtapatti. Adyam, knowledge Sat Asmi. So when teacher says Tattvamasi, then the student recognizes Sat Aham Asmi. Then that's fine. That won't be acceptable to the opponent. Adyam Anudya. Anudya means reiterating the first option. Tatra parasya of the opponent. Anishtapatti. The two options are there. If you take the first option, then the result is something that the opponent will not like, because it's contrary to what he wants to prove. So, second line, Sadeva Ched Aham Shabda Sata Mukhyartha Ishyadam. Sata Sat Shabdena Aham Shabda Mukhyartha Ishyadam. Sadeva Ched Aham Shabda. If Aham is actually Sat, in that case, Sata means Sat Shabdarthena Aham Shabda Mukhyartha Ishyadam. The meaning of Sat and Aham are identical. If Sat is all, I is Sat, if Atma is Sat, then when a teacher says Sat you are, then an identity of Sat and Atma will take place, because Sat is the meaning of Atma. Sata means Sat Shabdena, Sat Shabdarthena, Aham Shabda Mukhyartha Ishyadam Tada. If your Mukhyartha means identity of Sat and Atma, the meaning of the word Sat and meaning of Atma, if they are identical in primary sense, then Sat Shabda, Aham Shabdayoho, Ekartha Parivasanat, then the meaning of the word Sat and meaning of Aham, both of them culminated into one only. Aikatmam eva vakyartha. Aikatmam, identity, is the meaning of vakyartha. Sat is Atma, Atma is Sat. If Atma is already Sat, and teacher says you are Sat, in that case, I will see that I am Sat. That means there is an identity between Atma and Sat. Na samsarga. There is no other relationship. In a vakya, different relationships can exist. A standard vakya is Rama dandena gam anaya. Hey Rama, please bring the cow using a danda. Because the cow may be a little wild, so make sure that you have a stick with you. Dandena gam anaya. So here we understand the meaning of these words by the Anvaya, by the prose order. So each word is placed in its own vibhakti. Rama is Sambodhana Prathama, Dandena is the instrumental case, Gam is the accusative case, Ana is a verb. That's how all the words are connected. So this connection that the words have because of the different vibhaktis in which they are placed is called Anvaya or Samsarga. Each word is connected. Through the verb, they are connected to other words. So because they are all verbs of becoming, Anaya is an action. Verb denoting action. Verb means Kriyapada anyway. So theoretically, Kriyapada is a pada or a word denoting Kriya. So ana is a kriya, therefore there is a kriya or action of bringing. And therefore this is then we have to understand the anvaya or the prose order of these words, the connection, samsarga they have with each other, and that's how the meaning of the vakya is understood. But tattvamasi, asi also is a verb, but not a verb of action. Becoming is a verb of being, and there is no samsarga. There is no action involved here. Therefore, there is no samsarga relationship between tat and tvam. It is one of identity. Tat means tvam and tvam means tat. Iti aparoksha jnana siddhi. Atma is always aparoksha, and Atma is sat. Therefore, the sat is also known as aparokshataya, as my very self. Otherwise, Rama, Dandena, Gam, Anaya, knowledge takes place, but of something other than you. Aparoksha means knowledge of your own self. In this case, Tattvamasi, Vakya, because the Atma happens to be Sat. Therefore, you will know yourself as Sat immediately, as an immediate reality, because the identity between Tat and Aham. So, therefore, this Vakya is different from the standard Vakya, where the words are related to each other. And that is how you get the meaning of the Vakya. Here, words are not related to each other. Words enjoy identity with each other, and that's how you get the meaning of the Vakya. Hum phadadi kavachaya hum astraya phata iti. So hum and phata, there are meaningless words. Dvitiye. So sadeva asmi iti pratipadyate kincha anyat pratipadyate. When the teacher says tattvamasi, what does the aspirant know? What does the muksha know? Sadeva asmi, I am sat. Or does he know something different from that? But then, aham sat, because aham and sat are identical, so that's the knowledge should take place. Then, dvitiye dosha. If some other knowledge takes place, then doshamaha, the defect is shown in the next verse. Meaning, if sat is not, aham is not sat, kim sadevamasmiti kim va anyat. If sat, aham is sat, or is aham different from sat? If aham is different from sat and knowledge takes place, aham sat, that would be false knowledge. I am not Brahman. Oh, now I know I am Brahman, and that would be a problem. So, next verse says there, Anyache sadahangraha Pratipattir mrushaiva sa Tasman mukhya grahe nasti Varna vagateriha. Anyachet. If sat, is it same as Atma or different from Atma? Anyachet pratyagatma, anyachet sat. Anyachet sat. If sat is different from pratyagatma, and still teacher says you are sat, now that would be, and then I can, so because teacher you are sat, and now I know I am sat, and that would be false knowledge. Because I am not sat, I take myself to be sat. Ahangraha rupaya pratipatti mushayava sa bhavet. The knowledge of aham that takes place would be false when I come to know, when I take myself as sat, when I am not really sat. Teaches tattvamasi, and I say, so does the vakya create the knowledge in every situation? Vakyam cannot become pramanam. Tattvamasi cannot become pramanam if I am not tat. If I am not sat, and still I come to know I am sat, then this is false knowledge, not true knowledge. So, ya pratipatti mrusha eva sa bhaved ahangraha rupa, that I take myself, aham as sat, that pratipatti, that knowledge will be mrusha, would be false. How? Sampadadi jnanavata. So, sampada is an upasana, where you superimpose, deliberately superimpose one thing upon the other. Upon Shaligram, for example, you say this is Vishnu. Upon Pratima also, superimpose the idea of Lord Krishna. So that is all right for upasana, because then you look at the image and then you have the bhavana of Lord Krishna there. It has a different purpose to serve. Similarly also, if aham sat, that knowledge takes place even when I am not sat. Teacher says, you are sat, and I recognize I am sat, even though I am not sat, then that would be knowledge where there is superimposition of sat upon Atma, like superimposing the Ishvara or Bhagavan upon a Pratima. Sampadadi jnanavata. Sampad upasana. So that's upasana where one idea is superimposed upon the Pratima or upon the Alambana. Tatra vakyasya apramanya prasajyeta. You are not sat, and you recognize I am sat by listening to Mahavakya, then that Vakya has not done its job. Vakya has produced the contrary knowledge. That Vakya is apramanam, it's not pramanam. Pramana, prameya, svabhava, paryalochanaya, vakyadeva, aparoksham, phalavat, atmattva vijnanam, upadyate iti upannam. That is how it is now reasoning, established by reasoning, upannam. That pramana, prameya, svabhava, paryalochanaya. When you do paryalochanam, when you deliberate upon the svabhava, the nature of pramana and prameya, Pramana is Mahavakya, Prameya is Atma, that is Brahma. When we deliberate upon the nature of these two, Vakyadeva aparoksha jnana upapadyate, because Atma is aparoksha. Therefore, Aham Brahmasmi aparoksha. You follow? How does aparoksha jnana arise? Because Atma is aparoksha. It's my own self. Therefore, I know Brahman is myself. Not otherwise. Aparoksha jnanam cannot take place about some other than Atma. There is only one entity, the aparoksha, and that is the self. And Brahman happens to be the self, therefore, Brahma jnanam also is aparoksha jnanam. Phalavat, and that aparoksha jnanam, aham Brahma, releases me from all the notions about myself. That ashanaya, pipasavanaham, etc., whatever notions I entered in about myself, which notions arose on account of superimposing the attributes of upadhi upon the self, all of those things are dropped. So, phalavat, I become free. The freedom is only freedom from notion. There is no real freedom to be attained here. The bondage was notional, and all that happens is the notion is eliminated in light of this knowledge. So, therefore, phalavat. Therefore, this knowledge, phalavat, means producing phalam of mukti. Phalavat, atmattva vijnanam upadyate iti. The self-knowledge having the phalam, the reward of liberation of moksha, thus arise. Idu upannam. So this is what is established by reasoning, that upasamhara, that is what is now concluded here, tasmaditi. Tasman mukhya grahe nasti varna vagateriha. Iha vakya mukhya grahe sadi. Meaning that in this vakya tattvamasi, you take them with literally what they mean actually. Mukhya grahe. So mukhya grahe sati avagate, यथार्थ अनुभवस्य varana nivaranam nasti ityartha. So avagate, avagate means knowledge. So yathartha anubhavasya, call it the anubhava or knowledge of what is, that aham brahmasmi. Varana nasti, there cannot be nisheda or a vigna. There varanam means nivaranam. Varanam, nivaranam, nishedam is nasti. There is nothing that will come in the way of this knowledge taking place. Analyzing the nature of the pramana and prameya. Pramana is Mahavakya Tattvamasi. Prameya is Atma, all is Sat or Brahma. And again, Anubhava Swarupa and Aparoksha. That being the nature of the Prameya, this Vakya does produce Aparoksha Jnanam, and Samsara is Aparoksha. Therefore, Aparoksha Samsara is eliminated by the Aparoksha Atma Jnanam. Nanu Atmana Kutasthatvena Pradipatritva Anupattau. You say that Atma is Kutastha, changeless. So Atma cannot be Pratipatta. Pratipatti means knowledge, Pratipatri means knower. So now who gains this knowledge? Now, that's the next question now. In a very subtle manner, one after the other, aspects are analyzed here of the pramana, prameya and the pramiti. Atmana kutastattvena. Atma is kutastha, changeless. Pratipatritva anupattau. Atma cannot be pratipatta, cannot be jnata, cannot be knower in a primary sense, because knower would be changing and Atma is changeless. Phala sambandha na upadyate. If Atma is not the knower, then who gets the reward of liberation? Phala sambandha. The sambandha, the connection with the phala or the outcome, is for the one who has performed the karma. The one who performs the karma is the one who gets the karma phala. Karma phala here is the liberation, release from samsara. Who gets that? So Atma is kutastha. There is no pratipatritvam or the knowership in Atma. The Atma cannot be connected with moksha. Iti asti atmagrahe nivaranayati. Therefore, there is this nivarana, there is this obstacle here, that Atma is not a pratipatta, not a knower. Therefore, Atma does not get connected to phala. And so, the result, namely liberation, doesn't come to Atma. Iti ashankyaha. So that shanka is presented. Pratyayi pratyayaschaiva yada bhasau tadarthata tayorachitimatvacha chaitanye kalpyate phalam. Pratyayi and pratyaya. So pratyaya means just thoughts. Pratyaya means one who possesses thoughts. So pratyaya antahkaranam they will explain. And pratyaya is the vritti. So vritti and vrittimat. Vritti means the thought, vritti must be antahkaranam, possessing the thoughts. Yada vasau tadarthata. Both of them are enlivened because avasa, the reflection of consciousness. Tadartha, both of them serve the purpose of consciousness because they are independent. See, pratyaya also is dependent, pratyaya also is dependent. A dependent entity always serves the purpose of something else. Tayo achitimatvacha, the pratyaya antahkaranam, pratyaya the thought, both of them are unconscious also. Unconscious thing always serves the purpose of a conscious entity. Unconscious thing anywhere always serves the purpose of a conscious entity. Like this hall serves the purpose of the conscious beings. And anything that is unconscious, whether sand or stone or whatever they are, ultimately, directly or indirectly, serve the purpose of a conscious entity. So this is called tadarsata. They don't have swarthata. They don't serve their own purpose, they serve the purpose of tat or the conscious entity. Therefore, phalam of liberation, since pratyaya antahkaranam is unconscious, therefore it cannot be liberated. Pratyaya also unconscious, that also cannot be liberated. Only Chaitanya is conscious, Chaitanya alone gets liberated, that's what they will say. So where will the phala go? The phala has to go to Chaitanya. The samshaya was Chaitanya is kutastha. How can Chaitanya be connected to phala? Because there is no jnatrutva there. But we turn around other way, that the liberation is there. Now mind is unconscious, therefore it cannot be liberated. The thought is unconscious, cannot be liberated. Both of them enjoy as though consciousness because of reflected consciousness. And both of them are meant to serve the purpose of consciousness. Therefore, ultimately we accept that consciousness becomes liberated. Because that alone can be connected to the phala. Ultimately, conscious entity only can be connected to phalam. There is no conscious entity other than Atma, so Atma gets liberated. Slowly, that is where we are coming, So Tika says pratyayi. So pratyasya sthit pratyayi parinami antah karanam. So vrittimat, pratyavat. So vrittimat possessed of the vritti. Or pratyavat possessed of pratyaya is all antah karanam, which possesses pratyaya. And pratyaya which is possessed. So tat parinamascha. Pratyayi is the antahkaranam. Pratyaya thought or vritti, which is the modification of antahkaranam, state of antahkaranam. Yada bhasau, both of them receive the abhasa, chidabhasa from consciousness. Those who enjoy chidabhasa. Yasya chidatmana abhasa yayotahu yadabhasau. So, these two enjoy the life, they are enlivened by what? By Chaitanya, by the Chidabhasa, the reflected consciousness. Tayo tadarthata, therefore they are not independent, they serve the purpose of someone else. Those who are not conscious by themselves, they only serve the purpose of a conscious entity. So pratyaya antahkaranam also is not conscious. The pratyaya, the thought also is not conscious. And therefore, both of them must serve the purpose of a conscious entity, including the pratyaya, the thought with chidabhasa, and pratyaya antahkarana with chidabhasa, both of them, since both of them by nature are unconscious, therefore, both of them must serve the purpose of a conscious entity, and Chaitanya is the only conscious entity. Tadarthata, tat shesha bhusata. So te shesha bhutata iti yavata. Shesha means serving the purpose of another one. And so shesha means a part. A part serves the purpose of whole, that's one relationship. So here all the part, a whole means one serves the purpose of the other. The chair serves the purpose of Swami, So chair is unconscious. It cannot have its own purpose. So it is meant to serve the purpose of a conscious entity, such as Swami. And this goes all the unconscious entities. They always serve the purpose of a conscious being. The only conscious being entity is Chaitanya. So the mind and thoughts of the mind, all of them serve the purpose of Chaitanya. तयोः अचितिमत्वाच्च चैतन्ये कल्प्यते फलम्. Tasmin chaitanye chidatmani tadabhasadvara phalam kalpyate. So real phalam comes to chidabhasa. The one who feels a sense of limitedness is chidabhasa. But chidabhasa is not chit by itself, therefore the phala should go to the one who is conscious by itself, that is Atma. So chidatmani tat abhasa dvara phalam kalpyate. What becomes liberated? Ahankara. What is ahankara? Aham vritti, with the reflection of consciousness. So who feels limited? Aham vritti feels limited. Who becomes liberated? Ahankara becomes liberated. But ahankara itself is unconscious. It only appears conscious because of the reflected consciousness. It is unconscious. An unconscious thing serves the purpose of something else. Therefore, the liberation ultimately applies to only Atma, consciousness. So tasmin chaitanye chidatmani tat abhasadvara phalam kalpyate. So pratyaya means what? Aham vritti. Pratyaya is ahankara, aham antahkaranam. So even if the ahankara recognizes I am liberated, because ahankara is unconscious, therefore that phala of liberation ultimately has to go to the Atma consciousness. Chidatmani dabhasa phalam kalpyate. So this was the purpose of introducing Chidabhasa all along. That only when this idea of Chidabhasa is there, you can explain all vyavahara of teaching and the knowledge taking place, etc. Because otherwise, Atma by itself cannot be bound nor can be liberated. Anatma also cannot be bound or liberated by itself. So you need an entity which is both a combination of Atma and Anatma. So that's what Chidabhasa is. The Abhasa part comes from consciousness, Chit, and like mirror, and then its limitedness comes from the Antahkaranam or Aham Buddhi, which is like the mirror. So therefore there is an intermediate entity, which is which is required for all the Vyavahara. But even though Vyavahara takes place at the level of Chidabhasa or Aham Vritti, the ultimate result goes to Atma only, because only Chaitanya can legally or can rightfully be liberated or bound. Therefore, Chidatmani tat abhasadvara phalam kalpyate. The phalam or liberation of moksha also ultimately kalpyate is thought to be in Chaitanya. Suttayo achitimatvacha chaitanye kalpyate phalam. Kinchat achitimatvacha. Second reason. Kinchat tayo pratyayo achitimatvad jadattvadapi phala sambandha ayogat. A conscious entity can only be connected to this outcome. But then the antahkaranam and the aham vritti, both of them are unconscious. So they cannot be connected to phalam. And therefore Chaitanya alone can be connected to phalam, which is liberation. Therefore, so jadatvad phala sambandha ayogat. Pratyai, antahkaranam, pratyaya, aham vritti, both of them are jadatvad, unconscious. Therefore, phala sambandha ayogat. The unconscious thing cannot be connected to phala. Only a conscious entity can be connected to phala. Therefore, phalasya atma sambandhasya. Therefore, you have to say that the phala liberation belongs to Atma. That's only conscious entity. So who was bound? Atma was bound. Who is liberated? Atma is liberated. How can it be? So Atma was as though bound, Chidabhasa was really bound. And Chidabhasa gets liberated, Atma as though gets liberated. But ultimately, liberation has to come to Atma, to I. We will continue. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankar Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.